explains the effect this funding will have on public safety.
Help for American heroes.
And I started going into a deep and dark place.
The program matching service dogs with veterans and saving lives in the process.
Channel 11 WPXI tonight starts with severe weather coverage.
A live look at Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar tonight as wet weather could turn slick for some communities. Parts of our viewing area are already under an ice storm warning, and already more than 30 schools tell us they're planning to close or delay the start of class tomorrow.
Yeah, those are scrolling at the bottom of your screen and on our website. Let's get right over to meteorologist Stephanie Allison. And Stephanie, who's going to see the switch over first?
Rich, Lisa, we are looking at this system moving on in, and the winter weather alerts up and posted for our area. You can see the winter weather advisory through Butler, Armstrong counties and north, and then the area is highlighted in that darker purple with the ice storm warning for those locations. I will tell you, parts of Beaver, Allegheny County, Westmoreland County could see a brief period of some freezing rain with the onset of this system that will come for us overnight. So this is moving in here out of the south, and a closer look, as you can see the rain really knocking at our doorstep here tonight. As we head to bed, this is really moving in through the overnight hours. As I mentioned, temperatures play a big role in this forecast on who is going to see what. And also out of the tower cam, look at it moving around quite a bit. The wind's picking up in a big way here now as we move in the next couple of hours, also playing a big factor in the forecast as well. Temperatures upper to mid 30s in spots. I'll show you when those marks dip below freezing in some locations and who will see big impacts from ice in the morning tomorrow. That's coming up in the next 15 minutes.
Stephanie, thank you. And it's a great idea to download the WPXI weather app before you head to bed. You'll get any warnings and advisories pushed straight to your phone. Breaking now, the U.S. House has passed a bill that would avert a government shutdown at the end of the week.
On this vote, the yeas are 224 and the nays are 201. The motion is adopted.
This measure would extend funding for another week until Friday, December 23rd. That would give Congress time to finalize a broader full-year government funding deal. The bill now goes to the Senate for approval before President Biden can sign it into law.
New tonight, a fight broke out at a popular local bar right at a busy time of the night, but police say it's a man's actions after that fight that has him now facing a number of charges tonight. It happened near McFadden's on the city's North Shore, and that's where Channel 11's Serafina James is live tonight after combing through the police paperwork. Serafina.
Lisa, tonight we're getting the first look at the man who put up a fight right here inside of McFadden's bar right here on the North Shore. A fight that was so intense, police say it sent one of them to the hospital with a concussion. Police were first called to the bar for a large fight, but when they arrived, it was over. A city cycle medic told police he was standing with his motorcycle outside the bar when a drunk man identified as Ronald Snow grabbed him and attempted to pull him over the parked motorcycle. Police eventually caught up with Snow while he was at another bar nearby. That's when officers say they tried to arrest him, but he resisted and eventually kicked one officer in the chest and another in the face. The officer says this caused his head to snap back, his nose to bleed, and as the officer describes, a severe headache that caused him to almost lose consciousness. The officer was treated at the hospital for his injuries and has since been released. And court paperwork says the whole thing was caught on city cameras like the one you see right there. In the meantime, Snow now faces several felony assault charges. He'll face a judge later this month. Live on the North Shore, Serafina James, Channel 11 News.
New charges tonight against the driver in a deadly crash over the summer. Chopper 11 was over the scene in Georges Township, Fayette County, back in July. Yesterday, state police filed several charges against 32-year-old James Empolis, including homicide by vehicle while driving under the influence. The head-on crash killed 29-year-old Tyler Durst and 27-year-old Mercedes McCosey. Empolis has a preliminary hearing next week. Also new tonight, 2 men in custody after a police chase ended in a crash in downtown Pittsburgh. Take a look at this map. Police say it started when plainclothes detectives noticed a man wanted on federal drug charges in a gas station parking lot at Beechwood Boulevard and Browns Hill Road. and ended in that crash on Fort Pitt Boulevard and Stanwix downtown. This video shows Fort Pitt Boulevard blocked off after the crash. Police say when the suspect initially took off, the vehicle nearly struck one of the detectives. Police say the suspect also hit at least 2 other vehicles before getting off the parkway. Fortunately, no one was hurt. James Montgomery and Darrell Lewis were arrested, though, and taken to the Allegheny County Jail. Charges are expected to come.
A Target 11 exclusive. The Citizens Police Review Board is preparing to take possible action against the city of Pittsburgh. Target 11 has learned the board is now considering issuing a subpoena to force the city to turn over documents that may shed light on 3 recent incidents where officers allegedly failed to follow orders, including staffing the funeral in Brighton Heights prior to that mass shooting. The Citizens Police Review Board has launched an investigation into the failed police responses.
The bigger question is, why do we have 3 incidents happen in a relatively short time that involve officers doing what they choose to do rather than what they're directed to do? Where's the supervision?
The other 2 involve a previous Target 11 investigation that exposed bicycle officers falsifying time cards for patrols they never did. And in August, officers never showed up for a football game where shots were fired.
We're going to get a look at the moments after 2 teenagers were shot in McKeesport. Surveillance video at the Unimart on Versailles Avenue captured the shooting. It shows someone going up to the 2 victims and firing shots. The teen who was killed is Chance Naylor. The other teen is in critical condition tonight. The owner of the Unimart told us this is the surveillance video he gave to police. The video shows the person shooting 2 teens outside the store. We're pausing it right before the teen is shot. Moments after the initial shooting, the video shows one of the teens pull out his own gun and start firing back.
It's heartbreaking, and something needs to be done with the violence.
At this point, police have not released any information about what the motive could be.
New tonight, Greensburg police are looking for a man wanted in connection with a violent home invasion. 29-year-old Patrick Rosenberry is accused of breaking into a home on Alwine Avenue yesterday. According to the Trib, police say he attacked a man and stole a safe with thousands of dollars worth of coins and cash inside. He is considered to be armed and dangerous, and if you know where he is, you're asked to call police.
Pennsylvania's Attorney General is joining 2 other states in suing a real estate company at the center of a Channel 11 investigation. The AG's claim MV Realty misled homeowners. 11 investigates Angie Moreski has been following this story for weeks now. What MV Realty, which is based out of Florida, does, it offers to pay customers to sign a contract, which then locks them into a 40-year agreement. Angie learned folks had liens placed on their properties by MV. She actually informed several homeowners of that. They had no idea and were horrified.
It's far outside the norm of industry standards and not something consumers would reasonably expect.
The lawsuit seeks repayment to homeowners for any losses plus civil penalties against MV Realty. The company sent us a statement saying in part, quote, of MV's roughly 1,500 clients in Pennsylvania, less than 1% of them have filed a complaint. They also deny unfair practices and say they're confident it'll be determined they've followed PA law.
The Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection issued a notice of violation to the Shell facility in Beaver today for exceeding its emissions limitations. Shell's air quality plan states it shall not exceed 516.2 tons of volatile organic compounds in a 12-month period. Back in November, Shell reported it had exceeded that number by more than 100 tons. And this is a violation of their plan and state regulations. The DEP is now investigating.
Big time money headed to some small police departments. It's all part of a grant from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. I spoke with the man leading one of the smallest departments in the area who said he actually found out from us that he got the grant.
I was pretty shocked because you found out before me.
Sergeant Kevin Foltz leads the Rochester Township Police Department. There are just 4 full-time officers, a 10-man department in total. The department is getting more than $88,000 to outfit officers with body cameras, in-car cameras, and more.
We wouldn't have them without it. There's no way we would come up with that much money to buy body cameras and in-car cameras.
His department received one of 6 awards in the county. Ambridge, Chippewa, Midland, New Sewickley, and county commissioners also getting good news today. At the county level, more than $2.5 million will upgrade equipment for 22 law enforcement agencies, including Rochester Township.
The program we currently use is probably coming to the end of life in the next year or two. and that would have been an expense that we would have had to try to absorb.
Foltz says the cameras are good for everyone, adding a layer of protection for officers and citizens alike.
Scenes are chaotic. You miss stuff. Body camera picks it up.
Community members told us they were happy to see a small township like theirs level the playing field with bigger cities.
It's good to have it everywhere because you don't want anyone out the loop. So you got it happening in big cities, so the smaller people need the protection and the police need the protection too.
It's good for them as well because that way they've got no recourse. If they say this cop was a jerk, they have photographic proof if he was or if he was not.
Every department needs help. I don't care what department it is.
In total, the PCCD awarded more than $135 million statewide. We have a breakdown of who got how much with this story on our WPXI News app.
Detectives with the Pittsburgh Police Graffiti Squad are asking for your help to identify a tagger. Take a look at your screen. They say this person has been hitting the South Side and Oakland areas, leaving their mark as a chiz. If you recognize this person or the tag, contact Pittsburgh Police.
A Brookline man indicted by a federal grand jury on a bank robbery charge. 26-year-old Ahmed Asiri is accused of robbing Dollar Bank on West Liberty Avenue in Dormont last week. Police say a man wearing a surgical mask handed a note to the teller demanding money that said, quote, "Give me $20,000. You have 2 minutes or people will die." Police say he did get away with the money, but it was recovered.
People who live in a Sewickley building were told to gather what they could and to leave for good. That building was evacuated in an emergency after the boiler exploded, sending shrapnel in every direction. That building houses a dental practice on the first floor and 2 apartments on the second floor. Luckily, no one was injured.
Saving lives one service dog at a time. The training program promising to help more military members right here in our area.
Plus, from the lunar surface to the Steel City, the out-of-this-world addition to a local museum.
An organization that matches service dogs with military veterans is opening a new facility here in Washington County. Over the last 12 years, Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs has donated hundreds of service dogs to vets and others in need. Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond spoke to one veteran and learned how his service dog saved his life, not once, but 3 times.
This 102-acre lot is going to be the future home of Guardian Angels. It's an organization that matches medical service dogs with veterans to save their lives.
Without her, I would have taken my own life. You know, I had given up. 100% I'd given up.
Craig Hodgkins enlisted in the Marine Corps at 17 years old and served for 21 years before retiring.
Being a combat veteran, I was dealing with a lot of nightmares.
Besides PTSD, he says he also lives with neurological issues from his military service.
And I started going into a deep and dark place.
That was until her. Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs matched Craig with Foxy in May 2020. Since the organization started, about 400 veterans in nearly 30 states have received a service dog.
Not one veteran has taken their own life that's had a dog. I don't even consider it anymore since I've got her.
This area here, which isn't far from Beagle Club Road.
Guardian Angels is looking to touch even more lives in western Pennsylvania. It's planning to do that by opening a new campus about 10 miles from the airport.
We will have on this campus at any given time 80 dogs being rescue raised and trained as medical service dogs.
Former State Senator Jack Wagner says the need is great in our area.
Guardian Angels is going to double its capacity of helping people.
And giving those who served our country, such as Craig, a new leash on life.
Foxy's been that guiding light. No more pain, no more sorrow. Got a new norm and a new tomorrow.
Reporting in Robinson Township, Washington County, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
The group expects to break ground in the beginning of next year and partially operating by the middle of 2024. A local Army veteran killed while fighting the war in Ukraine. Trent Davis of Indiana was only 21 years old and volunteered to go overseas. His mother tells Channel 11 her son died for something he truly believed in, standing up for others.
He died for their freedom. I never thought I'd get the phone call. You just don't think that it won't happen to you. not your son, not your kid.
Trent first went to Ukraine in March to help train hundreds of soldiers. He went back in October and was shot and killed on November 8th while trying to save several civilians.
Back here at home, Mount Lebanon is getting ready to appoint a new police chief. Jason Haberman is expected to take over for the now retired police chief. Haberman has spent the last 4 years working as Mount Lebanon's deputy chief. A ratification vote will be taken during the commission meeting on January 3rd.
There is one less homeless camp in the city of Pittsburgh. We were there today when the city started clearing out Stockton Avenue on the north side. The city said there have been several concerns about safety, public health, and possible drug activity here. The city recently posted signs around the site telling people to clear out. They're working to get most of the people living here in a shelter, including 2nd Avenue Commons, but it's nearly full.
I think we're just doing everything that we can to make sure that we're able to provide credible offers of housing to everybody who wants it.
The city moved about 35 people to 2nd Avenue Commons. About 10 still need a place to live. New tonight, PNC Bank closing dozens of more branches across 10 states, including a couple in the Pittsburgh area. According to our partners at the Business Times, the Duquesne University branch on 5th Avenue and Grant Street in Vandergrift will close for good on March 17th. The company cites a shift to electronic banking as reasoning for the closures. Allegheny County will soon be home to 4 new state historical markers. The State Historical and Museum Commission announced a total of 36 new markers. In Allegheny County, new markers will honor musician Bob Babbitt, photographer Teenie Harris, former Governor Richard Thornburg, and the first all-minority lineup in Major League Baseball history. Unveiling dates have not been released.
The Mon Valley Alliance Foundation announced details of a $1.5 million multi-year neighborhood partnership program today in Charleroi Borough. The funds will go toward community enrichment programs and economic development in the Charleroi Borough for the next 6 years. It will also be used to assist housing programs for families. And the latest addition to the Carnegie Science Center is truly out of this world. Check this out. A moon rock is on loan from the Johnson Space Center, and it's now on display as part of the Mars The Next Great Leap. That rock was collected during the Apollo 15 mission back in 1971. The Science Center also has a sliver of Mars on display, and that is in its permanent Mars exhibit.
Love that. 2 Pittsburgh paramedics helped children and families in need in Homewood today. They delivered donations from the 4th annual Tracy Lynn Worthy Memorial Toy Drive to the Homewood YMCA. Pittsburgh EMS posted these pictures on Twitter, thanking everyone who donated a toy to the drive.
There is potential for icy spots coming, and we are always bracing for snowstorms this time of the year. So Mount Lebanon is looking for volunteers to help their neighbors. The Snow Angels program matches people with homebound seniors who need their sidewalks and their driveways shoveled and salted. Both seniors and volunteers can fill out a form on the township's website. There are age requirements and rules listed there as well.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
All right, the system we've been talking about all week is now moving in for us overnight. As you can see it right there, a lot of green on the radar. So we have some very soggy, cold, wet rain we're going to have in the forecast. It's going to be a wet day tomorrow across the board. And also we're going to have icy conditions in spots, especially north of Pittsburgh and off to the east. So let's get to it and talk about what you can expect in your neighborhood. Look at these marks start to tick down a little bit. 36 in Butler, an area that's going to be a concern for us overnight and into the morning. Also parts of Armstrong, so Ford City, Katanning, those areas, icy conditions for us overnight. Indiana and off to the ridges there in the mountains. As you can see, temperatures below freezing in those locations. The rest of us dipping another degree or 2 as we head through the next couple of hours as rain moves in for us. So what's going to happen with the onset of precipitation here through Beaver, parts of Allegheny County, and also parts of Westmoreland County? We'll see an onset of a brief period of some freezing rain. The rest of us, as you can see, we have that winter weather advisory. That's for Butler, Armstrong, points north, and then the ice storm warning for areas in purple. So Indiana, there in the ridges of Westmoreland and Fayette counties, and also into the mountains. This is the biggest impacts from this storm system moving in. So as I mentioned, a brief period of maybe a little bit of freezing rain on some higher surfaces through Allegheny and Beaver counties, and also parts of western Westmoreland County, about 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Okay, and then we're going to see temperatures get to 37. Cold rain across most of our area tomorrow. However, Points north of Pittsburgh and east is going to be those icy conditions. So the wind chill tomorrow, it'll feel more like the 20s, even though we're going to be in the upper 30s. Very cold rain across the area. Ridges, Route 422 and north, that's the areas we're going to see those icy conditions and that icy travel for us in the morning. Storm Tracker shows you this rain moving in and that wintry mix through Butler, Kittanning, Indiana, and off to the ridges. Those are the areas that are going to have the biggest impacts from the system, especially though for the folks in the ridges. So you can see the icing impacts for tomorrow morning. That's Butler, Kittanning, Points north, Indiana, the ridges, and the mountains. So these are the areas we're going to be watching for icy conditions tomorrow morning as you step outside. Then we're going to add winds to those locations. So you have ice accumulation and also strong wind gusts could cause some power outages, especially there in the mountains tomorrow morning and through the daytime tomorrow. Flurries Friday, temperatures over the weekend near freezing with snow showers on Saturday, and more on that forecast coming up. Plus, Albie has sports after the break.
This is Channel 11 Sports, sponsored by UPMC Health Plan.
Good evening. 4 days. Steelers at Carolina. Quarterback situation still iffy for the Steelers. Kenny Pickett was limited at practice today. Pickett remains in the protocol, and he has to progress through a series of steps until he's cleared to play. Now, if he is cleared, Mike Tomlin says he'll start. Cam Sutton limited today with a neck stinger. Najee Harris did not practice because of a hip injury. Miles Jack held out with a groin injury. Pat Freiermuth, a foot. Larry Ogunjobi with an injured toe. Up until today, Mason Rudolph had close to 0 reps since training camp. All of a sudden, Rudolph is back in the middle of it. That changed today. It was a big part of practice. He has a chance to get the nod if Pickett can't go. Rudolph was asked today if he was a bit rusty.
Throwing I'm not. I think the first play call, being back in the huddle and calling plays with the starting offense, it was fun, and I think I shook off the rust relatively quickly. So it was a good day. You don't know when your opportunity is going to come, but you can always be ready for it. That's the only thing you can do. So that's the way I've tried to approach this year.
Steelers have had problems with their run defense, and they're hoping for improvement against the Carolina Panthers. They better get that. Alex Highsmith says it's a little bit about attitude.
It's a mindset. I mean, at this point of the year, it's like, it's got to be a mindset. It's not something that, schematics, you can't install, being physical with somebody. That's just got to be a mindset. And so we got to get back to that because the type of defense that we can be. And so it's just got to be the mindset that we come in and starts play one, just setting the tone.
Penguins forward Jason Zucker is week to week. He's out with a lower body injury and not on the current road trip with the Penguins. And defenseman Jeff Petrie is out longer term with an upper body injury. He suffered that Saturday night in the win over the Sabres. Mike Sullivan says it will take a team effort to fill Petrie's spot.
It's incumbent upon the group to fill in and fill the void, so to speak. So Jeff's a really good player for us, plays in a lot of situations. Is good on both sides of the puck. We rely on him defensively. We also rely on him offensively. And so I don't think any one guy is going to step in there. I think it's going to be more by committee.
Pens are at the Florida Panthers tomorrow night. I'm Albie Oxenrider, and that's Channel 11 Sports.
Thanks, Albie. A live look at downtown Pittsburgh. When we come back, Stephanie will have a final look at your severe weather Team 11 forecast. It's right here. Keep it here on WPXI tonight.
A steady cold rain tomorrow with ice north and east of Pittsburgh, so you can see the areas highlighted in pink where we could see a 1/10 to a 1/4 inch of ice with major impacts, especially in the mountains tomorrow morning.
Coming up tomorrow on Channel 11 Morning News, we'll have live Team 11 coverage as Scott tracks freezing rain and Tricia keeps an eye on the roads.
It all starts tomorrow morning at 4:30. Our team will see you then. Have a great night.